I know what you're thinking. A fat chick with the name Lynn and her name sitting on a bed. Terrifying. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. This is Life with Lynn, and I'm Lynn. Today's video is a little less put together, as you can tell from the background. I'm sitting on my bed. That is Seth the Sloth. This is Stanley the Panda Bear. They are my friends and family. No, they were just Christmas gifts because I was fresh out of surgery right around Christmas. So today is a bit of a different video in both like setup, obviously, because I'm sitting on my bed with like my headboard and stuff, and it's mostly because I was out all afternoon, well, most of the afternoon, well into the evening, and which is why I have like half of my makeup done. Because the minute I walk in, like from here down, my dogs are just like lick, 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 lick. I'm like, I get it, you don't like my lipstick and my cover up, so I'm a little red, I'm sorry. Also, I got a ring light, but there is a glare in my glasses. I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll just like talk like this, you know, say anything. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I was out most of the afternoon, well into the evening, and this is shaking. I'm sorry about that. And because of that, I was busy, it was panicky, it was really crazy out because it was a Sunday. I had to go to a bunch of stores, and so you're kind of getting me a little less put together, but oh well. Today is going to be the second part of my bariatric. I don't want to call it a series because I'm like not Shane Dawson, first of all, but also because I don't know, it sounds pretentious. No offense to Shane, you know, like just for someone like me who's got like nobody watching, to call something a series is stupid. But anyways, so today's just like the second part in my bariatric stories, I guess. This is about kind of, I want to call it like the things they don't tell you about bariatric surgery, like almost like the dark side of it. And that is, you go through, you know, all of this testing. You go through the CBT groups, you see the dietitians, you see the nurse practitioners, you see the therapists, you see the psychologists, the anesthesiologists, obviously you meet the surgeon, you go through all of this group, all these groups, all this talking, all of this, and they just chip, you know, through it all. And they do this really, really, really good job preparing you for the surgery. And then you get to the surgery and they do a really good job of the day of preparing you for what's going to happen. Like, you know, going to the OR and, you know, how long you're going to be under and all of that stuff. But no one prepares you for after the surgery. And I think part of that problem is because everyone that you talk to, all the clinicians that you speak to and that teach these classes and whatnot, they're teaching you from a textbook, which isn't to discredit them or say they don't know what they're doing, because obviously they know what they're doing. You know, like you have 4 years of normal university or college or whatever, and then you have, you know, 4, 5, 6, however many years of medical school, and then you have however 3, 4 years of internship. Like, obviously they know what they're doing. Obviously everybody learns from a textbook. But I think the biggest downfall when it comes to bariatric clinics is that this is one area of expertise that would really, really benefit from someone working in it that had already gone through it. You know what I mean? Someone who was morbidly obese or super morbidly obese, you know, and went through the clinic. If they had gone through all of it, they got the surgery and they went through all of the same things that we went through, and then they knew what it felt like. So none of the clinicians have gone through the program as a patient, so they really don't know what's going on afterwards. And I feel like that's the biggest downfall of this whole situation. They're telling you all of this stuff, and it's all hearsay, I guess. Just like, obviously what they know from their medical teaching, but also, and their experience with other patients, but it's also like, I guess you could call it anecdotal evidence, because it's just what other patients have told them, right? And I also understand that they don't want to like make too much of a fuss about what's going to happen afterwards, what you're going to go through, because like they don't want to scare people off, I guess. And so that they're like, oh God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That sounds terrifying, you know? But I feel like by not being honest with the patients, they are really doing like a massive disservice to the patients. And what I mean is, after the surgery, when I was home, I was in an extraordinary amount of pain. And you would think, well, duh. I mean, it was a surgery, duh, you're gonna hurt. No. I don't mean, my stomach didn't hurt. Like, where those incisions that I showed in my last video were, they didn't hurt at all. I had pain up in my shoulders, and I didn't know what that was. And none of the nurses had said anything about it. And I'm gonna get into post-operative care in a different video, because I feel like it needs its own video. Let's just say that, you know? But I had this pain in my shoulder, and it had been there for about a day since, and I didn't know what it was, and it was terrible, absolutely terrible. I was on morphine, and it didn't touch the pain at all. And I mean, it's morphine. It's morphine. Morphine should touch the pain. Morphine should make the pain go away. I mean, the pain was so uncontrolled that I made noise in my sleep. There's actual video of it. Yeah, sounds fun, doesn't it? Well, as it turned out, the pain that I was feeling was due to the fact that when the surgeons do the surgery, they inflate your abdominal cavity and chest cavity with gas to make it easier for them to move around the scope and their tools. Also, side note, it's a laparoscopic scope that they use. I said it was an endoscopic in my last video. I didn't. This is why I'm not a doctor. And that pain in your shoulder is from the gas that is still in your body, that has to be like that has to leave, and not like gas, like, oh, you gotta burp and fart kind of gas, but like it just needs to like dissipate and slowly like leave, you know? So they blow you up like a balloon, but they don't tell you that. And when I first complained about the pain in my shoulder, the nurse that, my night nurse in my recovery ward, she was just a typical internal medicine nurse. She wasn't a bariatric nurse, but again, I'll get into the post-operative care afterwards. But let me just say, she was not a bariatric nurse. She didn't know anything about bariatric procedures, even though there were 4 bariatric post-operative patients on my ward. But it was not a bariatric ward. Again, this is going to be more in depth in a different video, but this nurse had no training in bariatric procedures. So when I told her about the pain in my shoulder, she thought I was having a heart attack. Because women, heart attacks tend to present differently than men. So men tend to have, you know, the tingly, numb arms. Women tend to have it in their shoulders and the back of their necks. And I had to go onto Facebook to figure out what was going on. Because at the time, I was in a Facebook group for my local bariatric clinic, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, please help me. And they told me what was going on. No one should go to Facebook. No one should have to go to Facebook to find out pertinent medical information. Do you know what I mean? You go to Facebook for memes and onion articles. You know, and to block that one racist cousin. You don't go for actual decent medical information. And yet here I was getting medical advice that was legitimate from a Facebook group. And that was crazy to me. That blew my mind, you know? So that's like one of the things that I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on, because they don't explain to you completely what's going on. They don't explain to you completely like what your body's going to go through after the surgery. And I mean, yeah, you can assume that it's going to be pain, but I feel like that is something that they should pre-warn you about. And then they don't tell you what it's like post-operative mentally, which is essentially buyer's remorse. I went in to this so prepared, so happy, so excited. I wanted it so badly. And about 4 days afterwards, I was a mess. I was sobbing constantly. I was hating myself. I had never had surgery before. And all I could think was I had cut into a perfectly healthy body and let them mutilate me. For what? I wasn't sick. You know, I wasn't dying. I didn't need a walker. I didn't even have elevated blood pressure, you know? I thought, God, why did I let them do this to me? Why? I don't remember why. I had a reason going in. I did. I know I did. But what was it? Vanity? Because I was fat, obviously, but I didn't hate myself. I worked hard to not hate myself, and I was at a place where I was content. I wasn't happy, but happiness is not a state of being. It is an emotion. It's like sadness and anger and passion. It comes and it goes, it waxes and it wanes. So I don't expect to be happy all the time, but contented at the very least. And I was, to a point, with who I was and what I looked like. And then suddenly this happened, and I'd done it to myself, and I couldn't remember why, and I was miserable, and I hated myself, and I had dreams about doing horrible things, and moments of dissociation in the middle of the night where I'd be sitting there and I would suddenly just be watching myself putting my fingers into the still healing holes from the surgery and ripping the sutures inside of my stomach apart and just bleeding out. And no one told me that I'd feel these things. And again, I went on Facebook. I went to that damn group and I lamented. I think I did 4 or 5 times over the weeks post-operative. And I was told it was normal. It was normal to think that way and to feel that way. How was that normal? Like, I'm having these horrible thoughts about myself. I'm wishing that I could go back in time and change it. Wishing I'd never done it. I am imagining hurting myself. I'm hurting the people around me from being like this, from hating myself so much. My parents feel like they're responsible because they should have stopped me. They feel like maybe I wasn't prepared, maybe I wasn't ready. My best friend was like, you know, oh, you don't do well with change. You're a little obsessive compulsive. Maybe give it time because it's different than like a change in furniture or your house or whatever. This is a change in your body and it takes time to get used to. And it did. It took about 6 weeks, 7, for those thoughts to go away. And no one told me about it. No one, not once, warned any of us in the clinic that after surgery, post-operatively, you will suffer mentally. And it's normal. You're not crazy. And you will get through it. But some people don't. I looked up the statistics, and some people who go through weight loss surgery, they get stuck in that post-operative brain. And within a year of their surgery, they usually kill themselves. And that wasn't told to us either. And that is even the smallest percentage, even if it was only 1% of the group of people who go through post-op, who goes through bariatric surgery, even if it's 0.1% of the patients end up doing something like that, like taking their own lives, that is still enough of a percentage that you should tell us. We should, as bariatric patients going into the program, be made aware that there is a dark side to it. But they don't warn you. And it's because some people don't get through that darkness. And that was horrible. And I feel lucky that I did get through it, and I'm okay now. Although obviously talking about it isn't the easiest. I also am lucky that I'm seeing a psychologist. I have a very good psychologist, and I see her regularly, and I did before surgery, and I did after surgery, and I continue to, and I am on medications, and I was before surgery, and I was after surgery, and I still am. So I feel like those things really, really helped get me through that dark patch post-operatively. But not everybody has that. Not everyone has access to that sort of medical care. Not everyone has a support system like I did. I had my parents, I had my sibling, I had my family and my neighbors and my friends. They kept my head above water when I was drowning. And I can't imagine what it must be like for someone who's going through this, who's going through bariatric surgery and they're post-op and it's a week. And they're drowning. But they don't have anyone there to help them. And they didn't know. Because no one told them what it would be like, and it's not right. There needs to be some change when it comes to that kind of thing. There needs to be more transparency in the post-operative recovery time. Bariatric clinics need to be honest with their patients. This shouldn't have blindsided me. This shouldn't have been something that I didn't know. This shouldn't have been another thing that I had to go to Facebook to find out was completely normal. I thought something was wrong. I thought I was losing my mind. I was ready to sign myself in for a 72-hour mental health checkup in an emergency clinic. Until a Facebook group. A bunch of post-operative bariatric patients in a Facebook group once again told me, much like the pain in my shoulder, that what I was thinking and what I was going through was perfectly normal and that I'd be fine. And that it would go away. But the point is, they shouldn't have had to. I should have known. I should have been prepared for that. For that fall, for that dump. But I wasn't. They prepare you great for surgery. You know, you're going up, you're like on it's like going up on a roller coaster, and then you're at the precipice, and that's surgery, and you're really prepared for that too. And that's where they stop the preparation. None of them tell you that right after that, there's that drop, and your insides are in your throat and your head is scrambled. And I honestly think that it's because these clinicians and dietitians and doctors and nurses, I honestly think it's because none of them have gone through it. And they can't warn you for something that they themselves don't understand, that they've never experienced. They can know from people telling them, and they can know from reading it in their medical books and being taught about it, but they don't know how bad it is. So to just ignore it and act like it doesn't happen and it's not going to happen is not, it's not safe and it's not right. So that video was a little more emotional than I expected it to be, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so that is the dark side of bariatric surgery. I want to say that I'm glad that I'm here, and I don't regret my surgery anymore. I'm right now about to go into week 9 of my post-operative care, which is the last week before you're technically healed completely. So those first 6 weeks, oh, those were hell. But I'm happy now. I'm content now. And I expect to be happy and content more as time goes on. Before I go, I will do a little weigh-in. I weighed myself this morning. Today is the 12th of January, 2020, and I weigh 328. So that is very neat. I am officially down 72 pounds. So that's cool. That's all for now. If you are new to my channel, which you probably are since this is a new channel, and you're interested in following my stories and my bariatric journey with me, you can subscribe if you'd like, comment down below, let's have a conversation. Hit that bell icon to get notified for every time I upload, because as of right now I don't have a set schedule. This is only my second video. Hopefully once I get a few more videos going, I will have a set schedule. You can follow me on all my social medias. I have them linked in the description below. And thanks for watching. I'm Lynn, and this is Life with Lynn. Bye.